Russian and Chinese warships are conducting joint maritime patrols in the Pacific Ocean as per Moscow's defense ministry. This involves rescue training and drills for countering air strikes. The drills also include practicing the replenishment of fuel reserves by ships and the transfer of cargo on the go. According to the ministry, a detachment of ships of the Russian Navy and the PLA Navy is currently operating in the waters of East China Sea. A Ukrainian drone fell on a Moscow building after Russian air defenses shot it down. Air traffic has been suspended at Moscow airport. As per the Russian Defense Ministry, there were no casualties as the drone fell on a non-residential building of Moscow's Expo Center complex. The Expo Center is a large spread of multi-purpose halls which is less than 5 kilometers away from Kremlin. Meanwhile, Belarusian President Alexander Lukashenko has said that Russia has achieved its aims in Ukraine. He has also expressed doubt over whether or not Russia will return the annexed Crimea to Ukraine. After almost 18 months of Russia's invasion of Ukraine, Lukashenko has urged the two sides to meet at the negotiation table. He added that post the war, Kyiv will no longer show aggression against Moscow as it did before the invasion. The Russian allies leader also accused the Ukrainian President Zelensky of ending talks with Belarus. The US President Joe Biden is set to host his South Korean counterpart Yoon Suk-yeol and the Japanese Prime Minister Kishida at Camp David. The leaders are expected to discuss challenges in the Indo-Pacific region and launch a series of joint initiatives on defense and technology. South Korean intelligence believes North Korea could fire a ballistic missile ahead of the trilateral summit. The missile launch could also be a show of defense against the upcoming second round of large-scale military drills between the US and South Korea. In Japan, more than 100 protesters gathered in front of the Prime Minister's office opposing the government's decision to release wastewater from the Fukushima nuclear plant. Carrying placards and banners, protesters demanded the government to reverse the plan. This comes after Japan last month granted approval for the plant operator to release the water. Although Japan and the International Atomic Energy Agency say it is safe, but nearby countries fear it may contaminate food. Taiwan's Vice President William Lei has returned from his visit to the United States. He said the visit showed the island's self-confidence venturing into the international community. Lei offered only made transits in the New York and San Francisco on his way to and from Paraguay. China has denounced the transit stops in the US, calling Lei a separatist and a troublemaker. After the Vice President's return, Taiwan's Defense Ministry released a video showing its military conducting patrols. An accompanying caption for the video read, "Nobody can encroach on our sovereignty." The first vessel that used Ukraine's Black Sea corridor has crossed Turkey's Bosporus Strait. This comes after Ukraine announced a humanitarian corridor in the Black Sea. The released cargo ships that have been trapped after the termination of the grain export deal. The Hong Kong-flagged Joseph container ship had been in the port since 2022, and according to reports, the ship will anchor at the Amrabali port in south of Istanbul. A Brazilian hacker has said that the former President Bolsonaro asked him to tamper with an electronic voting machine. The hacker told a congressional inquiry that Bolsonaro wanted to show Brazil's electoral system was vulnerable to fraud during last year's presidential campaign, and computer programmer Walter Delgatti told lawmakers they met in August. He said Bolsonaro asked him to discuss the idea with experts at the Defense Ministry and offered to pardon him if he suffered legal consequences. Delgatti said he never managed to hack a voting machine to show a manipulated result as requested. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has inspected the typhoon-hit farmlands amid mounting concerns over a food crisis in the country. This comes after the tropical storm Kanoon swept over the Korean peninsula last week. Kim Jong-un has praised the military's efforts to salvage the crops. He has also said the troops were mobilized because they cannot lose a patch of farmland to the natural rampage. Photographs showed the leader looking around the rice fields and observing drones spraying water onto crops. An earthquake of 6.3 magnitude has struck the Colombian capital, Bogota. It prompted frightened residents to flee into the streets. One woman fell out of a window during the quake and died. There were no immediate reports of major damage in the area. A hospital had to be evacuated, leaving its patients on the hospital beds onto the streets. The initial quake was followed by aftershocks minutes later as people crowded the city's streets. Colombia's National Geological Service estimated the magnitude of the first two aftershocks as 5.6 and 4.8. The United States has approved sending F-16 fighter jets to Ukraine from Denmark and the Netherlands. The U.S. President Joe Biden has endorsed the training for Ukrainian pilots on the F-16 fighters. As per reports, Washington will expedite the transfer of the jets after the completion of the pilot training. A coalition of 11 countries is due to start the training, which will yield results by June next year. Russia had earlier said that the transfer poses a colossal risk to Western nations. Ukraine has received two Iris-T air defense systems from Germany. President Volodymyr Zelensky has thanked Germany for supplying the weapons, saying it is a powerful and much-needed air defense system. A video released by the Ukrainian president press service showed Zelensky accepting the credentials from the ambassadors of Germany, Indonesia, Sweden, Chile, Peru and Colombia. Earlier, Zelensky also signed a decree formalizing the decision to fire all the heads of the regional recruitment offices. Ecuador's presidential candidates have closed their campaigns ahead of Sunday's election, and Build Ecuador movement candidate Christian Zurita vowed to continue his party's political program following the assassination of Fernando Villavicencio on August 9th. Yacu Perez, the candidate told supporters at a rally that his party would receive enough support to compete in the runoff round to win outright. A candidate needs 50% of the vote or at least 40% with a 10-point lead over the closest opponent. If needed, a runoff election would take place in October, that is on October 15th. Hundreds of wildfires burning in Canada's Northwest Territories have prompted emergency declarations and the evacuation of the capital city of Yellowknife. About 20,000 residents of Yellowknife are being urged to get out of the way of fast-moving flames as more than 230 fires char the territory, impacting air quality in the United States located north of Alberta. Wildfires in Yellowknife have approximately covered 165,000 hectares and is inching closer to the Northwest Territories and the main highway. A wildfire that broke out in the mountainous national park on the Spanish island of Tenerife has now spread even further, causing severe damage throughout the island. Firefighters battled to contain the fire, which has extended for 41 kilometers, burning more than 8,000 acres of land. It has now also forced the authorities to evacuate more than 3,000 people. Residents of the town of Tenerife Island made preparations to keep their homes safe as a wildfire raged in nearby hills. The locals loaded belongings onto trucks and cleared surrounding areas of vegetation and anything else that could fuel the fire. Weather-related disasters and climate change impacts are unraveling the fabric of society in the Southwest Pacific. And according to the UN Met Agency, sea levels in the Southwest Pacific are rising faster than the global average and are now threatening low-lying islands while heat damages marine ecosystems. The State of Climate in the Southwest Pacific 2022 report said that water levels in the Pacific are rising about 4 millimeters per year. That means low-lying territory over time could become flooded, destroying agricultural and habitable lands. The report further added that marine heat waves that occurred in a large area northeast of Australia and south of Papua New Guinea over more than 6 months is now affecting marine life and livelihoods of local communities. In Japan, firms are tapping into a growing market for products to help people handle the summer heat. Firms are selling jackets with built-in fans, neck coolers and t-shirts that feel cold. The mechanism is simple. Palm-sized fans powered by a rechargeable battery are fitted into the back of the jacket. This comes as Japan is experiencing the hottest summer. This July was the warmest in a century, with at least 53 people dying of heat stroke and almost 50,000 needing emergency medical attention. Paleontologists believe that a fossil found in Brazil might be a key to understanding the precursors of dinosaurs. The fossil of an animal was found in Brazilian paleontologist Rodrigo Tempmuller in the central part of Rio. Muller said the fossil gives a glimpse into what the faces and bodies of dinosaurs' precursors looked like for the first time. Experts believe that the prehistoric animal was 1 meter long and lived 230 million years ago. The 2023 Pet Fair Asia has kicked off in Shanghai. The exhibition is the largest of its kind in the continent. It shows the consumer power of China's expanding class of young, tech-savvy pet owners. Pet products and a multi-billion-dollar industry in China. A plethora of luxury and sophisticated gadgets are on display at the show, from ball gowns to robot companions to AI-powered health monitoring wearables. The growth can be attributed to the soaring pet ownership in China, which reached nearly 100 million households in 2022. And China's display of technological advancement has also found its way to Beijing at the World Robot Expo 2023. The conference exhibits cutting-edge robotic products and highlights China's vitality in the robotic industry. It gives a glimpse into the prospects for high-end technologies across the fields, including healthcare, entertainment and industry. The event showcases nearly 600 exhibits from 160 exhibitors from around the world, of which 60 new products are having their world premieres. There is a wide range of equipment on show with potential applications. Business, and while Elon Musk owns SpaceX, surging revenue helped it turn a small profit in the first quarter of 2023 after 2 annual losses at least. That's what the Wall Street Journal is reporting. The company reportedly generated $55 million in profits on $1.5 billion in revenue during the January to March period. A report published by the Economic Times suggests there may be more backers for Gautam Adani and his power business. The report claims Abu Dhabi National Energy Company is evaluating an investment of up to $2.5 billion in the Indian billionaire's power business. Earlier this week, the US-based boutique investment firm GQG Partners also invested $1.1 billion in Adani Power to pick up an 8.1% stake in the company. Reports suggest UBS Group is planning to rebuild its team in India as it prepares to create more products to compete for managing the wealth of rich Indians. The bank, which returned to the private wealth management market with a rescue takeover of Credit Suisse 2 months ago, plans to add at least 7 relationship managers to bring its total advisory strength to India to about 25. UBS is among the many global firms that increasingly are betting on India and its rising global influence.